Hey, Los Angeles Lakers fans! We're back with an exclusive video for you. First, log in to subscribe to the latest channel updates and enjoy this essential video to stay informed daily. Without further ado, let's get to the Lakers news. After making the biggest trade in NBA history to bring Luka Doncic to Los Angeles, the team is now looking to fill a huge hole in the paint alongside Anthony Davis. The Lakers currently have only Jackson Hayes as their only center on a standard contract. Now, reports indicate that the franchise has turned its attention to an interesting name, Mitchell Robinson of the New York Knicks. The timing of this interest couldn't be more fascinating. Just hours before the transfer window closed, Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau gave a surprisingly upbeat update on Robinson's recovery. The center, known for his strong defensive presence, is close to returning to full practice. With the Lakers in desperate need of a dominant presence in the paint, a trade could be the perfect solution. However, acquiring Robinson will be no easy task. His $14.3 million salary presents a challenge, as the Lakers' tradable assets either don't match financially or are too valuable to be included in the trade. Players like Austin Reaves and the recently acquired Dorian Finney-Smith fall into this category. That means a third team could be needed to facilitate a deal. According to The Ringer's Kevin O'Connor, the Lakers and Knicks have complementary needs. While Los Angeles is looking for a defensive anchor, New York could be looking for frontcourt depth. That connection could lead to a creative trade scenario. With the trade deadline fast approaching, the Lakers are under pressure to bolster their roster ahead of the playoffs. If they don't make a bold move now, they risk entering the postseason with a glaring weakness in the paint. In the meantime, the Knicks will have to evaluate whether they are willing to part with Robinson and, if so, seek a return that will immediately strengthen their team and also provide long-term benefits. The Lakers have already shocked the NBA world with one big trade this week. Could another one be on the way? The next few hours will be crucial in determining whether Robinson moves to Hollywood or stays in New York. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Now, let's talk about another big news story that has been circulating among Los Angeles fans: the shockwaves caused by Austin Reaves. The player recently landed in controversy after making a controversial comment about his partnership with Shake Milton. According to reports, Reaves allegedly said, "I can't play with him anymore," when asked about his on-court chemistry with Milton. The statement reportedly caused a stir in the Lakers' locker room and raised questions about the duo's future with the team. Reaves' frustration reportedly stems from Milton's inconsistency and his style of play, which he believes disrupts the Lakers' offensive flow. Milton joined the team in December 2024 from the Brooklyn Nets with high expectations. Despite some bright spots, including a recent 22-point performance, his adaptation to the Lakers' more structured style has not been as smooth as expected. Reports indicate that Milton's unpredictability on the court has caused tension, especially in decisive moments when Reaves assumes a leadership role. The player's comment is just the latest episode of frustration between the two. With the trade deadline approaching, the Lakers will have to decide whether this issue can be resolved internally or if a trade is necessary to avoid further conflict. If tension between Reaves and Milton persists, it could impact not only on-court chemistry but also team morale. The Lakers are already dealing with the absence of key players, and losing harmony in the locker room could be a fatal mistake in the tight Western Conference. The team's front office now faces a difficult decision. Should it prioritize Reaves' concerns and consider a trade to eliminate the tension, or should it try to resolve the relationship between the two players internally? With the trade deadline fast approaching, the Lakers can't afford to waste any time. Milton's market value may not be as high as expected due to his inconsistency, but a trade could still bring an important addition to the roster. If the Lakers don't address this issue quickly, it could have an even bigger impact on the future of the franchise. The team has already secured a contract extension for Reaves, but they need to keep their star happy, considering how important he is to the team's success. What happens in the next few weeks could influence the direction of the franchise for years to come. The Lakers can't afford to be distracted by internal controversy. The pressure is on the front office and coaching staff to resolve this conflict before it hurts the team down the stretch. Can Austin Reaves and Shake Milton find a middle ground, or is this just the first crack in a locker room on the verge of falling apart? Stay tuned for more updates. If you like the content, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue receiving daily news about the Lakers. With the trade deadline fast approaching, the Lakers' backroom staff remains in turmoil. The front office is evaluating possible scenarios that could resolve both the depth issue in the paint and the tension between Reaves and Milton. In recent days, sources close to the franchise have suggested that the Lakers have been scouting different teams in search of a solid defensive center who can complement Anthony Davis. While Mitchell Robinson remains an interesting target, the high cost of acquiring him has the team exploring other options on the market. Among the names mentioned are Jakob Poeltl from the Toronto Raptors, and Isaiah Hartenstein, also from the Knicks. The challenge, however, is not just finding the right piece, but also maintaining roster balance without compromising valuable assets. With D'Angelo Russell playing his best basketball of the season and Austin Reaves firmly established as a key player, trading either of those players would be a delicate decision. Meanwhile, Shake Milton seems increasingly aware of his situation. Reports indicate that the point guard has already realized that his role in the rotation has diminished significantly, and while he has publicly portrayed professionalism, internally there are doubts about his continued existence. If the Lakers are unable to move him before the trade deadline, the team may need to implement strong locker room management to prevent tensions from escalating further. The next few days will be crucial. If Rob Pelinka and the front office can find a trade that strengthens the team without destabilizing its structure, the Lakers could emerge as serious title contenders. However, if they remain inactive and tensions in the locker room intensify, the final stretch of the season could become a true test of the team's resilience. As new information emerges, we will continue to bring you updates on the developments in this scenario. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any details of this Lakers saga. Meanwhile, inside the Lakers locker room, team leaders are trying to maintain stability. LeBron James, always vocal behind the scenes, reportedly called Reaves and Milton for a private conversation in an attempt to ease the tension and ensure the team remains focused on the final stretch of the season. According to insiders, the conversation was productive, but uncertainty still looms over how the duo will handle the decisive moments on the court. Meanwhile, Darvin Ham faces the challenge of adjusting his rotation to minimize the impact of the situation. During the last few practices, he tested different lineups, reducing Milton's time alongside Reaves and promoting more minutes to Gabe Vincent, who has proven to be a more reliable option at point guard. This change could be an indication that, even without an immediate trade, the Lakers are already preparing the ground for a possible departure of Milton next offseason. Another factor that could influence the franchise's decisions is the growing pressure from fans. On social media, fans have been divided between those who support an urgent trade and those who believe that the cast should be maintained to preserve the chemistry built throughout the season. Hashtags such as #TradeMiltonNow and #KeepTheCore have been gaining traction, showing that the situation has gone beyond the backstage and has become one of the main debates among fans. With the playoffs fast approaching, every detail can make the difference between a successful campaign or another frustrating season. The board knows it needs to proceed with caution, but at the same time it cannot miss the opportunity to correct the team's weaknesses before it is too late. The clock is ticking, and the Lakers need to decide their next move. Will a last-minute trade change the course of their season, or will the team rely on internal resolution? The answers could come in the next few hours, and we'll be keeping an eye on every detail of this saga. As the front office weighs its options and the locker room tries to restore harmony, a new factor comes into play: Anthony Davis's patience. The Lakers star, while focused on the season, has not hidden his frustration with the team's inconsistency. Sources close to the players say he has been pushing the franchise to make decisions that will increase its chances of competing at a high level in the playoffs. Davis, who has dealt with several roster changes since arriving in Los Angeles, knows that a poorly executed trade could destabilize the team at a crucial time. At the same time, he also understands that maintaining the current situation could cost him dearly in matchups against physically dominant teams like the Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves, who have big players in the paint. Internally, the Lakers front office has begun exploring multi-team scenarios, trying to find a partner that would facilitate the arrival of a defensive center without giving up important assets. Among the most recent rumors has been the possibility of a three-team trade, in which Milton and draft picks would be sent to a mid-tier franchise, which in turn would give the Lakers an impactful defensive player. This approach, however, requires delicate negotiations, and the proximity of the end of the transfer window adds to the complexity. What once seemed like a search for minor adjustments has now become a strategic decision that could shape the future of the team not only for this season, but also for years to come. While the managers are racing against time, the players are trying to stay focused on the court. In recent practices, LeBron and Davis have stepped up their communication with the group, emphasizing the importance of staying competitive regardless of any changes that may occur. The next few days will be decisive for the Lakers. Any wrong move could jeopardize the team's chemistry, but inertia could also be a fatal mistake. Expectations are growing, and the outcome of this saga will soon be revealed. As the Lakers front office continues to explore its options, a new development could accelerate the decision: growing interest from other teams in Austin Reaves. While the team has reiterated its intention to keep the player, Some offers are beginning to emerge that offer pieces that could immediately address the team's deficiencies in the paint. According to league sources, teams including the Toronto Raptors and Brooklyn Nets have reached out to the Lakers about Reaves' availability, testing the front office's patience. The Raptors, for example, have reportedly floated a package involving Jacob Poeltl, while the Nets have considered including Nick Claxton in a broader trade. Both centers would fit the Lakers' defensive needs perfectly, but the front office remains hesitant to part with such an important player to the team's tactical scheme. At the same time, Shake Milton seems to be aware that his future may lie far from Los Angeles. The point guard, who has seen his minutes drastically reduced in recent games, has reportedly shown signs of dissatisfaction, although he has publicly tried to downplay the situation. Amid the trade rumors, he has adopted a more reserved stance, avoiding statements that could further intensify the speculation. Given this scenario, Rob Pelinka and his management team face a dilemma: whether to bet on the continuity of the current roster and try to adjust the pieces internally, or risk a bold move to strengthen the team before the trade deadline. The decision becomes even more complicated considering the recent history of the Lakers, who have made mistakes in dismantling competitive rosters in the past, resulting in seasons below expectations. Meanwhile, the players continue to prepare for the upcoming matches, aware that any change could directly impact the team's dynamics. The atmosphere in the locker room, although still focused on the campaign, carries a tone of uncertainty that will only be dispelled when the franchise finally defines its next steps. The clock is ticking, and with each passing second, the pressure is mounting on the front office to make the best decision possible. Will the Lakers make a surprising move before the transfer window closes? The outcome of this story is drawing near, and the impact of this choice could determine the team's fate this season. With tensions rising and the trade deadline approaching, the Lakers' backroom is buzzing. The front office is still evaluating offers, but insiders indicate the team may opt for a less drastic path, bolstering the rotation without sacrificing key players. Among the names considered for less impactful acquisitions are Daniel Gafford of the Washington Wizards and Andre Drummond of the Chicago Bulls. Both are viable options to bolster the paint without requiring a large cost in assets, something the Lakers' front office has been seriously considering. In addition, another possibility being considered is bringing in a versatile defender for the wing, with names like Jaden McDaniels of the Timberwolves and Royce O'Neal of the Nets emerging as viable alternatives. While executives are working behind the scenes, players are trying to stay focused on the upcoming games. Amid the uncertainty, Darvin Ham has been giving more minutes to players who can be tested in different roles, such as Cam Reddish and Taurean Prince, trying to find internal solutions if no significant trades are made. Uncertainty also affects the team's performance on the court. In recent games, inconsistency has been evident, with the team alternating between dominant performances and moments of weakness, especially in the paint defense. This oscillation only reinforces the need for a quick and assertive decision by the board. On the other hand, the mood between the players continues to be closely monitored. Although the tension between Austin Reaves and Shake Milton has eased after recent behind-the-scenes talks, the situation is not yet completely resolved. If Milton remains in the squad after the transfer window closes, group management work will be essential to prevent any lingering dissatisfaction from affecting the team's chemistry in the final stretch of the season. With the trade deadline just hours away, the Lakers know that any move, or lack thereof, could determine their playoff fate. If the team opts to keep its current roster, it will take a collective effort to address flaws and find solutions in-house. But if a trade does happen, it will need to be precise and surgical, ensuring the team emerges stronger without compromising its future. The expectation is now at its highest. At any moment, a decision could change the course of the season and define whether the Lakers will remain mere competitors or take the next step towards a real title fight.